One more week until we hit March and a whole different world to meet as over 10 AAA games come out on the exact same day on the first day the month begins. There's no need to worry about that now. We've gathered over a dozen huge new games you can pick up and play right now on your Android and iOS for free. First things first, after nearly a whole decade of wait and a few years of longing, Warframe is now finally on the Apple Store for free and ranked as the #1 action game there. That being said, if you're thinking on giving it a shot, it's almost a 15 gigabytes in size game, but that's not a problem for you. The good news is that the game does support cross-platform with cross-save with the same old 3, 1 or 5 versus 5 matches. Check it out, we actually got a trailer for it.
And fulfilling his lifelong dream of discovering Manzani's lost treasure.
Coming up behind that, although it's been around for a long time, we've got over here now Adventurers Mobile, an action-adventure basically cloned off of the old Uncharted PlayStation exclusive games, or at least a brave attempt to make something just as good. And honestly, not that bad either. I mean, Adventurers Mobile is now on Android and iOS. It's playable both online and offline, blending elements of shooting games, puzzle solving, and a lot of exploring in a semi-open world. Moving on to number 3, we've got over here SMOL, actually Rainbow Six SMOL, which is a top-down, you could say adorable take on Rainbow Six. It features roguelite challenges and an even cuter gunplay. Well, in my opinion, adding a whole lot of new personality to the Rainbow Six world. Believe it or not, this little fella is a collaboration between Ubisoft and Netflix, trying to retain the core tactical gameplay with new permadeath and a fresh approach. Plays offline if you desired. It's about 300 megabytes in total. Downloaded over 1 million times and rated a 4 out of 5, since not even an entire week ago. Number 4, we have NBA Infinite. Level Infinite finally released their basketball game on stores, and for those of you unfamiliar, it's the same famous team who made a Tower of Fantasy. See guys, NBA Infinite is right now rated as the #1 top free sport game on the Play Store, and the App Store offers a very good multiplayer, almost everything on spot, except that mechanics are a little stiff just yet. Free game about 2 gigabytes in total. Number 5, we've got over here Dead Town. This is a new work of the super famous developers of Alpha Guns and Jungle Adventures. I mean, these folks release over 20 games with 10 million plus downloads in each. Go figure. Anyway, Dead Town over here is a first-person strategy zombie shooter sitting on the Play Store with a literal 5 out of 5 and over 5,000 downloads in just half a day. It features no ad whatsoever. The game has a huge pool of enemies and guns. Without a doubt, the best game you can pick up today for free. That also plays offline. Oh guys, a quick mention over here, this is a short trailer. Last Barrier was released on Android last week and is sitting there with a 5 out of 5 rating and almost 5,000 downloads as well. It's an absolute beast of a pixel art game. It's free. Do go ahead and play this one if you like anything about the Kingdom Crown games or something a bit tower defense and a platformer. Plays even offline. Moving on to number 7, we've got over here in soft launch one of the finest casual card style action role-playing games released in the month. Definitely hints of Clash Royale and gameplay mechanics over here, but with a unique twist, which is you actually track and manage your heart rate and take it into your advantage in fights while working out. It doesn't really make sense, but wait until you give it a shot if you ever do. It's a good looking game, almost as good looking as World of Warcraft, and takes you about 1 gigabyte in total. Number 8. I've come across this thing like just hours ago, what goes by the name Last Clan Survival. This is a new work of the same team who brought Empire's Calling last year. This is another role-playing, real-time strategy game with an even more engaging and rewarding pace, with a whole separate campaign. There's a lot of empire and civilization management, building, hero summoning, and actually a choose of your own story. You can go and play this one on both Google and the App Store. It takes you about 400 megabytes in total. It's an online game in nature as well. Moving on. That being said, Gone Force has been around on the Play Store for almost a whole year now. It was only last week that the game finally went fully global and offering offline play for those of you who don't have a stable connection. The game of talking, in case you're just new to, is a run-and-gun classic shooter inspired by the Contra series with role-playing game mechanics, upgrades, and a good amount of content to keep you busy for a long time. Available on both the mobile devices and now finally Windows. Spot Racers, you see, received the new patch offering more content, new regions, offline play, and cross-platform support too. Now, this is for those of you new. It's a low-poly style, as you can see, racing multiplayer game in nature also plays offline. And what's even greater about it is that you can actually scan real cars right in front of you and apply the design to your avatar in your cars. It's a simple game, never boring, and fairly decent gameplay mechanics, 10 out of 10. Timeless Raid, on the other hand, is a PvP-based, however playable offline if desired, looter-shooter exploration-style casual game where you pick a hero of your choice with a certain ability, start exploring for loot, kill mutants and anomaly for extra loot, extract, sell, and then repeat until, say, you've unlocked everything. The game is rated a 5 out of 5 on the Play Store. It's a bit big for the content it offers. It takes about 500 megabytes in total. Oh, first off, rated a 3 out of 5. Almost 5,000 downloads, however, since yesterday. Number 12. We've got over here Mega Zombie M, which is a long-time developed low-poly zombie shooting game here that is every single correct element of a survival shooter. I give it a 10 out of 10 if I could. The game, however, is dragged by occurring bugs and an Indonesian language, but it's right now on both the Google and the App Store and has a fairly decent fast gameplay if that's what you're looking for. It's free. That being said, if you're a Koei Tecmo fanatic and could never get enough of Three Kingdom games, we've got a casual action RPG idle game over here that might be the best thing in its own kind with the Three Kingdom backdrop. The game's called Three Kingdoms Dynasty Archers. You can summon, upgrade, fuse, basically everything Raid Shadow Legends has to offer, but just with low-poly looks, Chinese warriors, and you only fight actually with arrows, hence Dynasty Archers. That being said, Kill Me Darat, I think, is a driving sim game from a team of mobile game developers that has already made over 50 different driving sim games with over 10 million downloads on a few of them. So, you know it's not just another one to add to your list. Not only you can play this game offline to get familiar with its mechanics, but you can actually play in matches of up to 16 players in multiplayer and challenge other players in obstacle-based races. Check it out, the whole thing just takes you about 200 megabytes in total. Moving on to number 15, we've got Hero Tactics. Well, it's a quick mission over here. You see, we get a dozen tactical shooting games in top-down almost every month, but Hero Tactics here is a good addition to your list if you're looking for something with the replay. It's coming from a well-known mobile game developer and is made with really addictive mechanics. Lots of characters, weapons, moving on. Now, on the other hand, we've got Knight Rider, which has been a while since we haven't had one of these, but if you're familiar with the formula, this thing is a Shovel Knight inspired in pace, but an idle role-playing action game. It's a combination of mission-based adventures with a good dose of comedy and combat, on top of a very rewarding system with microtrans. It's a free game over here, of course, about 500 megabytes in total and plays only online. Available in pre-registration since last week at number 17. We've got Garuda Saga. Technically speaking, it's a new work of Krafton, the famous developers of the New State mobile game, additionally Defense Derby. That's like 20 million downloads already. Well, their new game over here, as you can see, is a roguelike action RPG adventure, a tad inspired by the famous game Hades, with dungeon crawling game elements. Garuda Saga is about 1 GB in total and plays only online. And of course, last but not least, we've got Era of Lorencia or Chia. It's one of the few MMORPGs released within 2024 so far, which is inspired by the MU role-playing games. With more to the point, it's an authentic adaptation from the original PC version of the game with simultaneous upgrades in both experience and gameplay. Well, anyway, the game has been remodeled and optimized for mobiles, offers 4 different classes to choose from. I think it's a 9 out of 10 at least if you're looking for something old school.